Good evening. If it's Wednesday, it has to be Talk of the Town. My name's Andrew Botieri, and I will be your guest host, filling in for Karen Bukes this evening. And want to welcome you to Talk of the Town. Today is show 442, which is pretty awesome. And again, we've got a great show tonight, so don't forget to call in at 508-830-3971 is the call-in number. Again, 508-830-3971. Our sponsors, as always, are Cape Auto and Cape Auto Body, repair on Somerset and Sandwich Street. David and Kevin Gallerani, great guys. And then also One Stop Painting, as he says in his voicemail, all-around great guy, Jeff Cohen. And he is an all-around great guy. And so tonight's program, as we've done the last couple events we've done here on the show, is really talking about art and culture within the Plymouth area. And as we start gearing up closer towards Plymouth 400, obviously, you know, we got a great history in town, but I think we also got a phenomenal arts and culture, music scene going on, and that's what we're going to be talking about this evening. So I have two incredible guests, and they're awesome. I mean, they really are. They're great. Robin Carver, who is our town liaison with the Plymouth Bay Cultural District and also town planner, as well as Peggy Page, president of the Plymouth Art Center for the Arts on North Street, going through some great little changes going on.
Yes.
Which is exciting, and we'll be talking about those as well. So the first thing, Robin, welcome.
Thank you very much.
And this is, I think, our second time that we've done this together, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's fantastic. So obviously, you and I have been involved with the Plymouth, with the Cultural District, and a lot of great things going on. But lately, we've really moved, I think, the needle ahead quite a bit, to the point where, you know, even on Facebook, you're seeing all the accolades and the people just going like, wow, look what's going on with the things that we're doing. So obviously, part of that is the art initiative, and we got that through a crowdfunding, if you will, of Patronicity. Talk a little bit about that whole process and why the heck you took this on, because I know it has just been, it's been a handful.
Well, it has. I'll have to blame David Gould for telling me about the idea of Patronicity as an opportunity for crowdfunding. But anyway, it was a year ago last summer. So 2017, I think we started the initiative, and we found out that Patronicity, which is a crowdfunding platform that works with mass development, and if you can raise locally a number of funds, and you base it on the projects that you want to put forward and get costs on those, and if you can raise the money, that mass development will match the money. And Patronicity is a crowdfunding platform, so you do it through them, and that's what we did last summer, or a year ago summer. We pulled together some of the projects we really thought we wanted to do. One of them is Morris Street Furniture, which we did a few years ago. We also wanted to do some murals in town and work with some of the students in the high school. And we also wanted to do some of the utility box wraps. So we pulled those together, got our ideas out there, and we just hit the pavement in town and did everything we could do to try to raise some money locally. And we had great success. We had our crowdfunding campaign night. What do you call that?
New World Tavern.
The New World Tavern. That was October, a year ago, I think October. Yeah. And so we did. We raised the $13,000 that we were shooting for, and then we got a match of $13,000 more from Mass Development. So after that, we went ahead and started the process with getting artists involved in the street furniture, getting the VOTEC students to build some of the pieces again, getting some of the high school students involved, did another call for art as we did before, and got 20 new pieces out there last summer.
That's amazing.
So that's great, because people always love to see the Adirondack chairs around town and sit and just look at the beautiful scenery at the waterfront or whatever. And then we had, last May, we had the high school students in the North Plymouth High School art class with Lauren Jaworski, who is the art teacher, paint the mural at the skate park. So that was our first mural, and that was a lot of fun, and that was great, and that we had an unveiling of that, a ribbon cutting back in May.
I think we might actually have, Dustin, do you have for the skate park before and after. Yeah, this is the skate park after,
Right.
and talk a little bit about there it was before as just again just a concrete jungle.
Yeah, right. And it looks great now, and it was a lot of fun for the students. It's very colorful and fun and whimsical. It's got a lot of great fun ideas that are local to Plymouth, with the bug light and the octopus and the jellyfish and all the fun things on there. It's really clever, and the crab. And right now, I'm sure people are asking what's going on, because now the Holmes Dam Park is all under renovation, because they're releasing the dam and they're opening that all up, and it's going to be beautiful when it's done, and the whole park is going to be redone, as well as the skate park. So when I talked to David Gould about doing a mural last spring, I said, should we be doing this? And he said, just stay 2 feet above the base of it, because it's going to get re-leveled. So we were able to go forward with it. And right now there's a huge pile of dirt right in front of it. And when that all gets cleared away, we'll probably have to hose it off. I don't know if we'll have to do any touch-up or whatever, but we can work on that. But that was the first mural, so that was kind of a fun project.
Yeah.
And then
we did the ribbon cutting for that.
Yep, we did that back in early June or late May.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we had the unveiling of the street for all the furniture at the 1620 Winery at Cordage Park, and what a beautiful venue that was to have that. It was great. So we had all the artists that had painted the furniture come, and we acknowledged them and gave them certificates and had a wine and cheese tasting. It was a lovely evening. It was great.
Yeah, the artists really, what was fantastic about it was whether it was the Adirondack chairs, the benches, or the picnic table, which if you'd like, you can go to the town hall, and there is one of the picnic tables and an Adirondack chair.
And a bench.
And a bench that are up at the town hall, and the rest of them are along the waterfront, all the way from on the right side or left side of East Bay Grill over the bay, all the way through to the South Park, which hopefully, now that it's reopened, in the spring, we'll be bringing those chairs
some back there too.
Back there. But so, what's the final count on all between the chairs and the tables and?
Well, there are about 20 new pieces. We had 15 done a few years ago, and I just walked around town the other day and took some photos of some of the older ones, and they are starting to get worn. So we've got to try to decide what we want to do with those now. And that's something that we need to discuss with the cultural committee and a few people about what do we do with these now, because certainly they shouldn't stay out if they're getting worn, and because they're temporary. It's temporary art, so they only have a certain lifespan. So the old ones are putting aside, and we're figuring out what to do with those. And the new ones that were just done, I just sent out an email blast to the assets in the cultural district and the schools, and asked if anybody's interested in adopting a piece off-season from the end of November through April, to bring it inside into a business or a lobby or a school or somewhere that it could still be showcased or displayed, or a store or whatever. And then they can hold on to it for us and take care of it, so that we don't have to worry about, we've been trying to cram them all into an old water barn that the DPW owns, and it just gets, logistics are hard. So we thought it might be kind of fun to have them in town inside for the winter. So I've got some already taken, people have already emailed and have some of them. Yeah.
Anybody you can mention?
Dan from
Something for Your Dust?
Something for Your
Awesome.
Dust, and Harbor Knits. Jen from Harbor Knits. Yeah. Mike Capel, Director of Visual and Visual Arts for the schools. Yeah. And I think that's it right now.
Well,
so I just sent it out yesterday. So
if there's any local businesses out there that would like to adopt some furniture, an Adirondack chair, and put it in your...
Oh, Peck Furniture, maybe.
I know, Peck's had offered to put some in their warehouse, but it's great. It's it's a part of Plymouth, and then you just kind of keep an eye on it through the winter and to the early spring, and then we'll be putting them back out onto the waterfront at that point. So, you can either call us at 508-830-3971 right now and reserve your Adirondack chair, or you can reach out to Robin at the town hall. So very cool. And that was a great program. Now, the local high schools Well, we did one more mural with the local high schools. Tell me about that whole process, getting Mike Capel involved, Lauren involved.
Right. Right, so we were talking about that. The theme for our whole crowdfunding was Plymouth art and history. So there are 2 other mural locations that we had plugged in part of the crowdfunding for in there. The 2 underpasses along the Towne Brook Trail that are under Market Street Bridge and the Main Street Bridge.
Okay.
And we wanted to work with the high school students and Lauren's students. There's an art class she has. Community and Art is the name of her class, so the students that were in that class. And they had to really think about art and history in Plymouth and what that means to them and how do you incorporate that into a design, into a mural. So they came up with some sketches and ideas and they presented them to us and to the Board of Selectmen so the board could see what they had planned. And then they went out and did the Market Street Bridge underpass a few weeks ago. And it's beautiful, it really is. They did a fantastic job. It's stunning, the work is great, and it's a beautiful combination of the herring that run along the stream. So they had the natural aspects of the area with the flowing of the water along the bottom of the mural and all the heron that swim by. They had the Wampanoag Indians and a lot of the symbolism that's important to them with their, is it a Weechu, I believe it's called. And then some of the native animals that are important to them and some of the sign and design elements of it. And then they had the Jenny Gristmill tied into it for the industrial section, a little bit of the cordage tower, and then some cranberries for the agricultural
As a matter of fact,
industry.
I think we've got we have a before and after. There's the before, and it looks like Ken Bukes was busy doing his art, and there it is as the mural now. And as you can see,
wow.
as Robin was talking about, you've got the Indian symbolism in there. I think one of them was also the sun, how
The
important
sun,
the sun was
yes,
to them.
how important the sun is to
Yeah.
them, absolutely.
The fish from the herring run, the grist mill, and just, I mean, and this was just, as you saw the before, that's what people were walking by.
Yeah.
And, you know, is that what we want America's hometown to look like? And then to the present of what it looks like now. And we have a ribbon cutting coming up on the 14th.
Yeah, next Wednesday. Next
Okay.
Wednesday at 2:30. We'll be on site. Fingers crossed, no rain, because we're getting tired of canceling for
snow.
rain. Or snow. So hopefully we'll be right there on site at 2:30 next Wednesday, having a ribbon cutting and acknowledging all the students. I think there's 14 students that were involved in it. They did it in 2 days, on a Thursday and
yeah, I
a
mean,
Friday. It
unbelievable.
was just really terrific.
And they
yeah.
showed them with their coats on, 'cause it was getting a little cold. And,
Yeah.
and we also had, as part of our big sponsors for that, was Cape Auto being
Yeah.
one, and Dave
Yeah.
Gallerani. Tech Etch was another big sponsor. Beals and
Thomas. Yeah.
And then also VSB. But who was the
VHB. VHB and, oh boy.
was a friend of yours. That
No, VHB was Kirk Quitzoff, friend of
Okay,
mine
yeah.
at VHB. And
Yeah.
then there was another, another,
Is it the VSB? Is it his-
no, well, VSB was our platinum sponsor.
Okay.
And then Cape Auto and,
And also shout out to Jeff Cohen, because as he has done with the state park, as well as the murals on Market Street, and then the next one will be the bridge on Main Street. After the kids do the murals, he's putting a anti-graffiti solution on it.
Oh.
And he put that at the skate park.
right.
And I had called Robin, and I drove by there, and I couldn't believe there wasn't a lot of graffiti, but it was pretty rude and crude of what they were saying. So Jeff said, you get a bucket of water, get some 401, a sponge,
409.
and a 409, 401.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's
Something
Rhode
like
Island
does it
area
have to
code.
be-
That's Rhode Island area code.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Jeff, does it have to be 409? Can
It
you
could be-
use
it could be
green
s-
simple or
simple
simple green?
green.
It's a
or any of
degreaser.
that.
Yeah, right.
And so I went over it, and it came right off. It was amazing.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's great.
So big shout out to you, Jeff, and
Yes,
you're the man. Thank you very much, and you're an all around great guy. So we like that too. Part of this process, obviously, is the involvement with the kids. Any feedback? I know when they met with the selectmen, they weren't prepared when Ken Tavares said to them, "So what does art mean to you in the community?" And at first they were like, but they both did a great job.
They did.
Both of the
They
young
really
ladies
did. Yeah, they did. And how important it was to give back to the community is what really was the big part of what they had to say, which was really great. And to have the youth involved, I think, is really important because I think that they own it and they realize that this is their town. So that's great.
Yeah. And
they've done a wonderful job.
We're hoping too that we'll get more. Now when people do go visit, the Jenny Museum, Jenny Gristmill, that they'll now be able to make that great walk along through Brewster Gardens and really have just be able to walk away and just say wow. And the feedback on Facebook has been tremendous, with everybody just going, "Oh my God, look at this, how great it is," and I'll be interested to see once the skate park and the dam are done, what that's going to really enhance.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be beautiful.
And they've already tied the connection from Newfield Street down to the little cul-de-sac. I can't remember it. It's the one connection. It's ADA compliant now, so that they'll have the whole trail all the way down from Brewster all the way to Newfield to the park. So there'll be a walkway that's ADA compliant. It's going to be beautiful.
And I saw the bridge. They've got a bridge there now, which would be. And I think that the water's going to run under the bridge. Isn't that how usually it goes?
Yeah. It'll be great to see it all done.
So now let's talk about what I think are just, again, something that people really have been, as we post them on Facebook, the response, and then people like going, "Oh my God, I saw those. I saw the one at Samoset down at Brewster Gardens." But the utility wraps. Talk about again how that all came about, because I think it's just a great. And we can also talk a little bit about Franklin Marvel.
About Franklin,
as well.
right, the artist. Yes, so the utility box wraps. I grew up in Medfield, and they had done the wraps in Medfield, and I had seen those over the past few years, and they had done historic photographs too. And I was talking to Bill Cohane about it, or when we had brought the idea of the utility box wraps with our crowdfunding platform, Bill reached out to me and he said, "I've been interested in trying to get this thing done as well." And he said, and I went to the town of Newton, and I found out who the artist is for Newton. We found out the artist is the same artist that did ones in Medfield. So I said, we need this guy because he knows what he's doing. He did a fabulous job in both towns. He's done, I think, over 60 of them in Newton altogether because there's so many different villages in Newton. But anyway, it's Franklin Marvel, and he's out of Boston, and he's a Venezuelan artist. And he lived in Miami for a while, and now he's been living in Boston for quite a while. But such a talented guy and such a lovely, lovely person. And he is just really a very special person and very talented, and he was able to take any photograph we found, and we were going through all the historic photographs with Bill Cohane and Jim Baker. We went to the Pilgrim Hall Museum, and we had all different kinds of photographs, and we were trying to get them to have, we decided on that postcard kind of look that had a little bit of color to them. We were originally going to do all sepia tone, but Bill had so many of these beautiful postcard type images, but a lot of them were very watery and not very clear. And Franklin said, I can work with any of them. And he made them look like watercolors. If they weren't really clear and they didn't have the pixels to make them like a photograph, he made them look like watercolors, and they're beautiful. Yeah. So anyway, he's very talented, and we have 10 of them right now. We have another one going up, and they're all over downtown, from Main Street, Town Square, out to JB's Corner, along the waterfront, and we've just gotten a lot of excitement over those because it just takes those black and gray ugly boxes, they get tagged, and now they're a beautiful piece of art. So
even to the point where Dickie Quintal now wants to put some up in North Plymouth.
Nice.
Yeah. And I think we've got, do you have the first one? This is the one at Brewster Gardens, and as you can see, it's a shot of what that harbor looked like. How old was
Actually, that's Brewster Garden when it was a pond. It used to be a pond there, and now it's the garden. I think before they dammed up the stream and all that was all dammed up. It used to be a pond right there.
How different.
Yeah, so different.
It looks like on the right-hand side, far right-hand side, looks like a factory.
Right, and that is where Zebra Visuals is.
Right.
That's white. You can see the corner of the building over there. But it was red at the time, but that's the same building, so it's the same view, except that you're in a pond, actually, looking across.
I never knew that Brewster Gardens was a pond.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, that was beautiful. And that's where we were going to have the ribbon cutting, but we had to cancel twice for rain, so we finally did it in Town Hall in the glass atrium, and that was fine.
Yeah.
It worked out great. We had images of all the boxes. So.
And it had started raining that day too, didn't it?
Oh yeah, it was pouring. We're like, all right, we're done.
Yeah, right.
It's been the craziest
And
fall
so,
ever. Right?
and so, like Robin said, we've got them. We've got them here. There's the one by the Lobster Hut, which is I think one of the bigger.
Yes, it's
ones.
very big up on the platform.
And we've got one right across from South Street and Sandwich Street, one there as well, JB's Corner. And then we've got the
Depot
do we have it
Square,
here?
where the old
Yeah.
railroad station was on
Yep.
South
And
Park.
if we go to number second one, Dustin. Now this is them doing the one on Samoset and Court,
Oh, right.
and that and the left hand side is actually Franklin.
Yes.
And they just, again, it was just something
Oh, is that cool?
where this was the finished piece right here, and so right behind there was where the actual Samoset house.
Actually, it's across the street.
It was across the street.
Right across the street. Right, it's actually where the
Right where
The mobile
Papa
station.
Gino's is.
Oh, Papa Gino.
Yeah.
Oh, so across the street.
Across the
okay.
street from
So
this, right.
behind the Gulf station. Or
Yes,
the gas station
yes.
right there. Okay. And again, it just gives people an idea when they're walking around downtown, and that was really what we were trying to get across was, here you are, present time. Here's what it was in the past.
In the past, right.
And and I've seen other different boxes. I think in Hyannis, they just painted their boxes with, lobsters and lobster boys and lobster traps and just very almost cartoonish. And I
This
just
is
thought that this
beautiful,
was
yeah.
this was
Yeah.
much better. And then if we go to number 4, and this is the one at Town Square.
Right. And that's great because when you really look up at the church, you can see what it used to be like right there. And you
And
can
you're
tell
looking
by
right at
standing
it,
there, yeah.
Now is that the because I know there was a couple pictures that had the wooden structure before it burnt down.
That looks like it
Can you
might
tell? Is that the
I
is that the
can't-
existing one? The
I
stone?
can't tell.
be. I think that might be the wooden one.
It might, I can't.
The
Jeez,
wooden one?
Jeez, I don't know.
Painted,
It might be, but I'm not sure.
We saw pictures of that.
We had several of
widening
those, trying
into Town Square. That was all lined with beautiful trees.
Trees and
all
horse-
homes on the side, horse and buggies.
Horse and buggies.
Oh
and-
my God! It was just
yeah.
it was fantastic, and so that was that's part of it. I don't think I think I'm all out of pictures for Robin. Yep, thank you. And so as we start looking at this art initiative, obviously it ties into the downtown, the waterfront, but the downtown, and what impact has this had? I know that you oversee or are part of that the downtown steering committee that we met with that time. What are they thinking about of all these improvements being done around the downtown area?
Well, they're very excited about it, and it's a big part of the master plan that we're working on right now. We're revising the master plan, and we've had a lot of guest speakers come in, including you, to talk about what's going on, and a lot of like the DPW director, Jonathan Beater, and David Gould, director of Marine and Environmental Engineer, Lee Hartman, director of Planning and Development, and others, and more to come, and Donna Curtin from Pilgrim Hall Museum. But obviously this is a huge part of what's been happening. I mean, we've had the cultural initiative for a long time with the performing arts have been doing so well with the concerts down on the waterfront and the Spire and so many things going on with that. We just need to have some more visual arts around. So this is just kind of complementing and continuing to move in that direction. In the other villages, we certainly want to continue to expand this into the other villages as well. I mean, there's 5 villages here, and the core downtown of Plymouth is where most of the things happen, but each village has their own identity. And one thing that's happening is the Symes House. I know Peg has been doing the arts down there while they're under renovation, which she'll talk more about, but we have a couple Adirondack chairs we put out there, and we have some more next year that will be available. And the picnic table that didn't get completed this last round was actually being done by the Manomet Elementary School students.
Oh, cool.
So that will go to the Symes House.
That's going to be nice.
So we're going to start to continue to expand. As you said, Dickie Quintel's interested in things in North Plymouth. I know that the West Plymouth Steering Committee just had a logo contest to create a logo for their identity, and they had the students, and well, not the students actually, whoever the contestants actually came to the planning board the other night and had the presentation and thanked them. And so yeah, so I think all the villages are starting to realize there's a lot of things that they want to start doing to acknowledge who they are and bring more artistic and cultural arts and visual arts to their areas as well.
I live in West Plymouth, and now that we've got, Market Basket, which is, great place, because it's only like 3 minutes down the street from my house. But, we've got all those other pods going up, and then across from Colony Place, you've now got more going up. So it's just, there's just a lot happening.
Right.
And I think that's why it's important that we make sure that we not just continue with arts and culture, but we really find ways to promote it. And with that, we've got Art Week 2019 that's coming up, which we had Art Week Plymouth 2018, and we had 24 businesses collaborating with artists. We had 26 events. I know you had your selfie selfie madness. And Memorial Hall had a couple different events. Jesse and Eddie over at the art shop did some great stuff. Jen and her husband Paul at the Plymouth Knits, Harbor Knits did, and so everybody really, in town, even businesses that you wouldn't think were, art and culture. The first ones I think of, and Melissa Kenny and I talk about this all the time, was, Paul and Jean Quintal of Lobster Tails, of Plymouth Cruises, and they were the first to submit an application. There's no cost to it, but they then took artists, photographers, painters, sketchers, and then took them out into the harbor and let them, and anchored for a while off of Gurnet Light, and then anchored for a while off of Bug Light, and that was their participation in Art Week. So I know that we just had a meeting this past Monday, and very excited. So Art Week will be April 26th through May 5th, and it's going to be a 10-day event all the way up and down Main Street, Court Street, on uptown, as well as down at the waterfront. And so more on that will be coming as well. But along with the murals, the wraps, what else?
Sure.
What else are we thinking? What else is?
That's enough.
Yeah, I haven't thought in anything particular yet.
Yeah.
I would love to see some sculptures around town. I think identifying certain areas that make sense and are appropriate, that's something obviously needs to be worked out. I don't know. The only one that's a potential that I know about right now is that the redesign of the home skate park. When David Gould came to me and said, I wanted to show you the layout and the plan. And he said, there's going to be some pathways that connect through the park. And he said, if you want, we can kind of create a little area where they merge and have an area like, make sure we leave a space there, 10 by 10 or whatever, so that a sculpture or something could be there. And I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
So, maybe some local artist is a sculptor. I don't know. I mean, that's something that I think we need to have more of that. And
Well, just that whole beautification of that area, and then as they start to eventually work on, the cordage, and then bringing that path down along.
The rail trail that's there, extending the rail trail down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that we really like to do. Is the rail trail comes to Nelson Park, and there's an easement that can take it just a little bit further down to those two parking lots, and actually down to Lothrop Street, because the Copper Cove condominiums, they have the strip behind them, and they actually renovated it, and they put in the stone path. So they've got the path, and they've got a little parking area at the south end of it. So they've done their part to enhance that area, so that we just need a very short window of it to connect it.
Yeah.
And then at the north end, there's some work to be done, so that it goes out all the way to Cordage Park. But the Cordage Park development people are planning on doing that as well.
Yeah.
I think it goes to Hedge Road now.
Yeah.
I think then it'll go further.
Yeah.
So that'd be great, because the train's there, and we're going to get the train too to come more.
Well, the train, and then obviously with the dredging, that we just got, and I think they just started doing the dredging.
It's out there.
Yeah, I haven't. I
Yeah.
got the newspaper the other day. I haven't had a chance to read it, but they were talking about sand and dirt. I'm sure there's a lot of it, but you know, they're going to be doing things that we've all been wishing for and hoping for the last, few decades, and now it's coming to fruition. I mean, to be able to get small cruise ships in here, to get bigger ships in here, bigger boats in here, yachts, and with the new town pier, the new town wharf, I mean, to have a small cruise ship pull in with 150 people, 200 people, and have them just, get off and do their thing.
Yeah.
Come and spend money and eat at the restaurants and, go to the
That's
Plymouth
right.
Center for the Arts
That's
and,
right.
and whatnot. I mean, it's going to be fantastic. So anyways, well, Robin, anything else you want to add?
No, I'm looking forward to, we have one mural left
Yep.
of the whole initiative that we just went through. We have one mural left, and they'll be doing sketches and designs for that in the spring. And it probably will get painted next fall. But part of that we've told the students, and Lauren Jazerski, that I really want the students to really take it through the process, is that the Main Street Bridge is a Mass DOT bridge. It's owned by the state. And they have a mural policy application you have to fill out. They have to approve it. And I don't think there'll be any issues because I think they're thinking more visual or impacts to the roadway, the bridge, the vehicular part of it. This being the underpass probably isn't going to be an issue. But I said to Lauren, I want them to apply for it. I want them to go through all the processes so they know what it takes to actually work
like
through
that,
and put
yeah.
something together for a project like that. So that'll be the last of this initiative next year. So we'll have to be brainstorming for more.
We can take a breather for a little while.
Take a little breather. Every time we say we're taking a breather, we don't
We
take
don't. I know. We've said that I think 3 times this year. Where after we did Shakespeare in the Park, and then we did the second annual Art and Music on North.
Right.
It was like, oh, we can take a breather, and I think we took like a 3-day breather, and then we're back to the raps
Yeah,
and the
right.
murals.
Yeah,
And,
Right.
Ribbon
but it
cuttings
is
and-
fun, and to see
It
that
is.
all come together. And I think all in all, everybody in town is just excited about it, and those that aren't, hey, too bad. Anyways, Robin, as always,
Thank you very much,
and
Andrew.
I'll
It's a
see
pleasure.
you next week at the meeting.
Yeah, right. See you every day.
Okay. Yeah. And next I want to bring up Peggy Page, and thanks for sitting through all this. But I'm
It's
sure it was a nice little
fascinating.
education
No,
for
I
you.
know. No, Robin and I work together
Yeah,
on
we
several
do.
things.
Yes,
So
yeah.
yeah, that's good. Yeah.
And president of Plymouth Center for the Arts.
Yes.
Taking over for Rich Mulcahy.
Richard Mulcahy, he
Yep.
was our president for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked alongside of him during those 5 years and actually have been there since we opened the doors. This is our 10th anniversary of being in the building this year. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's hard to
Great.
believe. It's hard to believe. We worked so hard to get it to look beautiful, and now we're tearing it apart again. So it's a little scary, but it's going to be an absolutely fantastic space once it's finished. So.
Well, before we get into, because we do have some photos of that, but I'd like to talk about, really this year, what were some of your signature events, and how did they go? I know that obviously you've had a little bit of juggling to do.
A little bit more than a little bit.
Yeah.
But yet last year we had started the beginning of the year we were closed January and February because we thought that's when construction was going to start. And we felt it was better to just be out of there. But then that got delayed. So we decided, okay, now we've got to kick into gear and get back to our regular events. And we have so many dedicated volunteers. It's amazing. We would not, well, you know how volunteers are. I mean, it's just when they are passionate about something, they make it work no matter what. So we put our schedules back together. We've kept our classes up and running throughout the whole thing. And with the help of Irene and John Moody down at the Symes House and Ann Phelan and Jennifer up at the library, we have been able to keep our members show and our 51st annual Juried Art Show. It's like we didn't skip a beat. The venue changed, but the shows happened and they were successful, and people were still able to show their art and sell their art. So that was a good thing. But we are still juggling. We are still juggling, but the one thing that's amazing about this town is that once you have a presence here and people know what you're all about, they don't forget about you. I mean, they come back and they look for you. I mean, we have people looking, when is the next show? What is the next class session going to be starting? That kind of thing. So it's really very rewarding to be president of the Plymouth Center for the Arts, because it really has become a destination for art on the South Shore, and we were very proud of that, and hopefully we'll be very good stewards of that as we go forward. So,
well, and I hope that whether it's people coming back for the Center for the Arts, we've got the Spire Center. 2 weeks ago, I went and saw the Band America at Memorial Hall.
Yep.
We are, and I've said this before. I've said it on this show and also in several meetings that when I first moved back here in 2001, and there were so many for lease signs on Main Street, businesses that were vacant, and I jokingly used to say that Plymouth was really the redheaded stepchild between Boston and Cape Cod, and now we've truly become a destination, and not just because of the history. The history is fantastic. The Plymouth 400th commemoration celebration, but it's really the arts and the music. During the summertime, I mean, you can probably go to 15 different places and there's live music. And now I'm hearing from many of my friends who used to go over to the Cape all the time that why go over to the Cape, deal with the bridge, deal with the traffic, when we can come to Plymouth. And if we can find parking, just kidding, not really, but anyways, that they'll spend the whole night down there, they'll spend the whole day down there, and so we really have become that destination.
we have, and this past year we had the 51st annual Juried Art Show, and we had it in 3 different venues. We had some down at the Symes House, some at the library, and some at the Art Center. And our opening reception was the same Saturday night as the opening night for the Philharmonic. And we were saying, oh my gosh, we're not going to have the large crowd that we had before because there's another big event going on. But Plymouth is such a town that people come to, and not just local people, that we had close to 200 people for our event, even though there was a large event going on at the Philharmonic. So we love being right in the center of town, and we hope that we can stay there for a very, very long time. But for those of our supporters and our participants, our artists, obviously we wouldn't be there if we didn't have their participation, and we thank them every show for sharing their art with us, because that's what really brings people to us. But we're moving forward, and we're building for the future, because we've been here 10 years. We didn't go anywhere, but we're getting bigger and we're getting better and more well known. So I think that the future looks bright for the Arts Center and the town.
And for the arts and culture,
yes,
exactly.
Right, exactly.
Well, I want to throw some pictures up, and the first one, if you could, Dustin, I think is the Christmas House volunteer.
Oh.
So talk a little bit about this. I love this picture, by the way.
Yes. This was at one of our holiday open houses with the artisans that participate, artists and artisans in our artisan shop. The room that you're looking at is in the Linden side of the building. It's called the Teal Room. And they spent the whole day putting their beautiful art out for people to come through. That was throughout the whole building. I think we had 20 artisans that had all of their things out there for the holidays. And they love doing this because they talk with the people, and it's fun for people to come in and not just see the art, but to be able to talk to the artist who created it. So many of those artisans are also some of our teachers. So it was a great recruiting tool for our classes as well. So yeah, they could really come. And Christmas is coming. The tree is going to be coming down out of the attic pretty soon.
And we'll be in the Teal Room?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and that room right there is usually where Santa comes when he's going to be back this year again. And we
For
put
the
him
tree
in.
lighting?
What?
For the tree lighting?
Yes,
the
yeah,
Kiwanis.
yeah. And we put him in that cozy little room and have him, greet all the children and listen to all their requests, and it's a fun night.
And I think Melissa Kenny from the Cultural District had a couple different ideas to maybe join in with you guys. So I'm sure you guys are already talking.
Well,
so
we've talked a little bit, yes, yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about this whole Plymouth Bay Cultural District. It really has connected so many of us because we were all kind of doing our own thing, and now, there's such great connections. And Art Week is another one. Very excited after that meeting the other night that some great ideas are coming out of that.
I know the
so.
Mayflower Society is going to be open as well on December 7th for the tree lighting.
Yeah, they
and
decorate
wanna
every
do
other
some
year.
Stuff.
Yeah.
And again, it's just, and that's really what the I guess mission, or one of the missions of the Cultural District, is really getting the businesses and the arts and culture groups to collaborate with each other and create excitement, create some uniqueness that people go, gosh, what are they doing next?
Yeah.
And so we've got that one, and let's see. Dustin, how about the art stroll? When was this?
This one right here that you're looking at was an event that we had during the 50th Annual Juried Art Show last year.
Okay.
And we like to have several children's events, and it just so happens that one of our volunteers is the mother of Jeff Kenny, who is the author of the Wimpy Kid.
Okay.
Okay. And she pretty much told him he was going to do a fundraiser for us. So just like a mother, just telling him. But he did. It was wonderful. He came, and we had quite a few, as you can see, quite a few children there and their parents. And he went all through the whole process of how he draws his characters. And you wouldn't think, you'd think, it would be just a simple head, blah, blah. But he starts with the nose, and then he does other. So the kids learned a lot. Every single one of those kids sitting on that floor brought several books to have it autographed. And it was just a wonderful night, and it was very different, but it was also showing that the Art Center is not just an art gallery.
Right.
It's a place where people can experience all different kinds of arts. The art of the word, music. We have some dance stuff going on, origami. Some of our teachers do that as well. So it's really runs the whole gamut. But
That's quite a crowd.
yeah, it is. Yeah, we had about 65 kids, I think, and then they had parents
Wow.
with them. Yeah. Yeah,
And
they
look,
were
and
Really.
look how attentive the kids
Oh
are.
yeah, they are. There was this one little boy, very first in line. He was there over a half hour before we opened the doors.
Oh, just
Yeah,
waiting.
yeah, just waiting to get in. So, but
He'll probably be one of those kids that, when he's old enough, he'll be one of the first in line to get the new Apple, the new iPhone,
could
right?
be, could be.
Great. And then let's see, what was the next one we have?
Oh, this is the
the Symes?
this is the Symes house. Yes, this is our what we called our art explosion. We picked names for our show, and this was the name that was picked for this show before we realized that we were going to explode the art center.
Blow it up!
Yeah, I
We're
know.
exploding. We're all
Right,
over town.
I know. So we are down there. This is the ladies' parlor as you go in the front door to the left. And
I've never been there.
Yeah. Oh, you have to go.
I haven't
Yeah.
been in a while.
Well, it's being decorated for Christmas now. It's absolutely
So it'd be
beautiful.
probably
But
best time to go.
but they let us put the standards up and use 3 of the rooms, and we were able to hang up about 90 pieces of art down there.
that's
So it really was a great way, not only for us to continue our programs, but as well to bring awareness to the Symes House. And we actually had there were summer people there that were in the summer cottages that ended up buying things to take home with them. That was one of the members' shows this year that sold the most art, was the one that was there at
And
the
how,
Symes
and
House.
how did that
Very
collaboration come about?
It was a suggestion from Richard Mulcahy, suggested, well, maybe we should go down there. He's always liked the Symes House, and I think Andrew Cusmet had already, been in contact with them, earlier. So we decided to go down and ask, and Jim and Irene were absolutely thrilled, and they've been wonderful. They've actually been wonderful. So, and
That's a
we're going to
great
continue with doing some things with them. They have expanded what their charge is for the town. It's not necessarily an art gallery, but we're still going to be able to do some smaller things down there with them. So we're really looking forward to that.
And what other organizations, you mentioned the Plymouth Library on South Street, any other places have?
Well, we haven't actually used I don't want to say used, but Amy Naples at the Chamber of Commerce. We've talked, and when we thought we might be in trouble for classes this summer, they were going to open up the doors to their rooms for us to have our classes up there. So everybody's just been
It's like
so,
Amy.
yeah.
Amy's a
Amy's
super.
They're just
wonderful.
so generous
Yeah.
with it, with
Yeah.
you know, everything, because everybody really tries to help everybody else out.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
We
I
do.
know, I know. So, but we've got a construction plan coming ahead, and they've already started inside for a little bit, and I just heard tomorrow the roof is coming off the middle section of the deck's already gone. The roof's coming off tomorrow. So we're moving forward, and hopefully we'll move forward real quick, and then we'll get things back together. Hopefully by mid-December, and by next spring we should have a big grand opening. So.
Well, there's
Yeah.
another picture with the volunteers and the kids' haunted gingerbread.
Oh yes, yeah. This was
I
one
thought
of
this was really cool.
Yeah.
and
I
it got me hungry.
I wanted to go to that, and I was out of town.
Yeah.
I went, oh my God, I was telling
So
you.
how did this event come about?
This came about because this was the 51st annual Juried Art Show and festival. So we had a stroll, and usually we have art and bloom, and we have a couple of other different things, but lots of change happened this year in everybody's life and their businesses and everything. And this year we didn't have an event that was towards the end of the annual Juried Art Show. So we thought, well, you know, we're getting close to Halloween. Why not the weekend before Halloween have a haunted gingerbread house? And Brenda Cobb, who is the chairperson of our gallery committee, she's always wanting to do things like this. She made all of those gingerbread houses herself.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, they're really cute, and they're made with cones from ice cream and
God.
graham crackers and
Geez,
things
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So the kids had to just sign up, make a reservation, and come. I think it was only $10 to come, and they had tons of candy. And
And
I
then
don't
they just
have a
decorated,
picture.
She built the basic structures.
Yeah,
Oh my God,
yeah.
that's great.
Because they only had like an hour and 20 minutes or so to
Mm-hmm.
do it, and the parents would stay with them and everything, and it gets kind of crazy with kids doing
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Right.
But they left with these. Some were beautiful, some were like, you know, but
Scary.
they were they were scary. Exactly, they were scary and very creative, and always very
Are you
creative.
trying to say that they really didn't look like gingerbread houses when they
Well,
went out the door?
Yeah, they were wonderful. But it was the first time we had done an event like this, and I'm sure we'll probably try to do it again. So, but it was trying to stay along with the Halloween theme and kind of go along with things that were, you know, happening in town and everything. So.
Now, you had mentioned your volunteers, and I
Mm.
was honored to give a
Yes.
presentation and talk, did a little speech about volunteerism to your large crew of volunteers. How many do you have?
Well, as far as the regular, you know, active weekly volunteers, we probably have about 80. But
Oh my
over and
gosh.
Can we
above,
steal a couple?
yeah, but over and above that, we have more because we have special events that some volunteers like to just volunteer for that event.
Right.
But when you think about it, we're open 7 days a week, and we have 2 shifts, and we have 2 volunteers on for each shift, and so they're all different.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
they're all different. So in the course of a week, we have quite a few volunteers that come in and actually are there to answer the phone and try to answer all the questions and stay in tune with
It's a
everything
lot
that's
to
going
know
on.
and
It
learn,
is.
too.
It is. It is. But they are so wonderful. I can't say enough about them.
Oh, they're a
because,
wonderful group.
Yeah, we could not have the doors open if it weren't for their dedication, right? And I have to put a shout out to the woman, the volunteer, who actually schedules them all. And this year was very difficult because she had 2 different, sometimes 3 different venues to schedule volunteers at. But Debbie Hardy is her name. She's on the board, but she's the actual volunteer coordinator. So she's had her hands full,
That's
and
fantastic.
she's off on vacation. I'm hoping she's coming back. She's like, so.
Well, and again, it's the importance of that volunteerism, and you know, we struggle with that at the
Yeah,
cultural district, where it's always the same 3, 4, 5, 6
Yeah.
people all the time. So if you're out there and you want to be able to give back to the town, even for a few hours here, a few hours from there, there's a lot of groups out there that are looking for volunteers. She's got her 80 plus, so
Yeah.
she's fine.
Yeah, we
You
can-
contact the cultural
share.
district. We can
We can
share
share. Yeah.
the cultural district because
Yeah.
we're always looking for
Yeah.
help,
Yeah.
as well as I know the Spire does with having ushers to be able to
Ushers
seat
and-
people. Same with the Plymouth Philharmonic.
Right.
So, it's the volunteers that when you go to these events and they seem like they come off seamlessly, it's because of the volunteers in many cases.
You don't want to know what goes on behind the scenes.
No. Okay, what other photos do we have?
So
This is
destruction. Yes. Okay.
this is the
All right.
deconstruction
This is the
construction.
beginning of the destruction, and this is for those of you who are familiar with the Art Center. When you come in the front door in the deck, this is the room right above that main lobby area, and this is like studio space that was upstairs, but that was one of the first parts to go. And what was interesting, and Bill Cohane was very interested in this, when they were pulling up the floorboards, they found some old newspapers.
Oh, he was all over
Yeah,
that.
he was.
Yeah.
He doesn't let a
From
site go and get go apart
1841.
without him
Yeah,
being
from
there.
1841. So it was interesting.
Wow,
It was
1841.
Yeah, it was the Boston Advertiser, and they were advertising steamboat rides from Boston down to the Cape or something
my
like that. It was kind of cool.
gosh,
It was
that
kind of
is
cool.
cool.
But this has all been removed now, and that is the section that is actually going to get removed. Come this next couple of weeks.
Okay.
That will be gone. And then when they rebuild it, the back wall where there's windows will be pushed way back, and our lobby will get bigger. The elevator will go in. That's the whole purpose of the project.
That'll be right
to
around to the
make
right
it-
as you walk
yeah.
in.
And the elevator will go in so that all of the classroom space on the lower level of the Lindens and of the Russell, which we have a clay room over there where they actually do wheels of clay studio. And all of the spaces upstairs where this is, all the studios, and there will be another large gallery that's going to be put upstairs as well. So,
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
it's going to be really
Oh,
pretty.
that's great.
really
I
pretty.
can't wait.
So we're raising money. We've done it in 2 phases, phase 1 and phase 2, and the phase 1 is we started it, so we can get through to that, but we're still raising money to finish up for the phase 1. So we've tagged our campaign Elevate the Arts, since we're putting in an elevator and we are elevating the arts.
Yeah.
And you can go to our website and you'll see a picture of Elevate the Arts.
And what is your
I think
website?
you have one, artsplymouth.org. And there's a place to donate money there, or to just go, you can go and see the floor plan and the architectural drawings on that site as well.
I think we got a couple other. Is there a groundbreaking one, Dustin?
Oh, there's Elevate the Arts.
No, the one.
This
there's
is
another
the
one
Elevate
before
the
that.
Arts. Yeah. This is what it will look like. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The groundbreaking,
Yeah.
yes. The shovels that are in the background, when we decided to do the groundbreaking in April, one of our artists says, well, maybe we should paint the shovels.
Shovels.
I mean, it is an art center, right? So we did. We painted the shovels, and it was kind of interesting because Matt Vittori and Vinny they wanted to make sure they got the shovel that they liked when they were doing it.
Oh, the poor
It
boys.
was great. It was great. No, they did a great job, and so we had the groundbreaking.
Did they have to fight over it?
No, they didn't.
Good.
They were managing to do okay.
Vinny's got seniority.
Yeah, yeah. But we had the groundbreaking in April, and then some of the inside work started, and then we ran into a little hiccup with asbestos. So that put us back for about 6 weeks, almost 7.
Yeah.
And then we got into our busy season with the annual show, and we didn't want it all torn up for that. So that's why we're just now getting up and running again. And
When you
hopefully-
mentioned the deck is down, that's that deck
that
right
deck
there.
and that
That's-
white railing is all gone now. If you drive by there, that's all gone. And the roof of that little section right there will be coming off
Yeah, wow.
in the next couple of days.
Okay,
so.
and then the rendering, Dustin.
Okay, so this is a rendering. This is also the graphic for our Elevate the Arts campaign. But you can see in the middle there, just beyond those people who are walking in, that section upstairs, it kind of looks like an artist studio window. That will be a brand new gallery. And it will come right from street level into an elevator that will be right there, and it'll go up to the second floor and down to the lower level for all of the studios. We have, down in the lower level of the Lindens, we have a printmaking studio. We have a photography darkroom for people to do old-time, old-fashioned
Oh, wow, my
photography.
sister used to do
Yeah,
that.
I know.
Yeah.
And then if you go to the other side, we have a clay studio where we have 7 clay wheels where our teachers actually teach people to, and a kiln couple kilns to do the firing. So I mean, it's a fully stocked classrooms for all the different types of art. You know, and then so it's exciting.
Yeah,
it's very
it is
exciting.
very exciting.
Well, I think
Yeah.
what, you know, and the fundraising that you have going on, that's a mailer that you're sending out?
Well,
part of a
there's been
marketing piece, or-
mailers that have been sent out. We have 2 more phases of that. So some people listening tonight may have already received it. If it got thrown away, you can just go to our website and go to Elevate the Arts. So.
And so when this is all said and done, what's next?
What's next? Well, we're going to play with it for a while and then get through 2020 and see what happens. I mean, expanding is always, you know, a dream, but we're in kind of a situation where we're kind of blocked in. There's not really any place to expand. So possibly looking at, you know, making our programs a little bit more diverse and, you know, in let's see, how should I say that? Make them with more meat on their bones. So, and the teachers that we bring in for the classes are some of the high-class, award-winning teachers. So we've got some.
It's great.
Yeah.
And the other thing, I know you sent me a photo, but I don't know if I did get it to over here to Dustin, but with the holidays coming up, they have the best shop there with all types of art.
Beautiful.
It's for sale. They've got these cigar boxes that a guy made into guitar or like
right.
banjos.
That's right.
And there's walking
really?
sticks.
Wow.
There's
shawls,
you know,
knitting.
shawls, knitting.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. It's pretty impressive.
It's pretty impressive.
So if you want to get your Christmas
Right.
holiday stuff, Center for the Arts. And again, Peg, thank you very much.
You're welcome. It's
Great to see
glad
you
to be
again.
here.
And Robin, thank you very much
too,
as
Andrew.
well.
Yeah.
And
Always a pleasure.
you know, let's say as what's Jesse at the Arts? You got to do the Arts. Jesse Fry's over at the
Yeah,
Arts
right.
shop. The Arts.
The arts.
And Eddie always busts on her all the time.
Yeah. Oh, God. So, well.
Thanks,
It's a
everybody.
pleasure.
Thank
Have
you.
a great Wednesday night. Have a great week.
Yeah.
And remember, arts makes the difference.
That's right.